Are with us today. We have Armand and Manik from Search Atlas. Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing fantastic, Lauren. Great to
Doing great
today.
Awesome. So before we get started and before the presentations and all the interactivity starts, I just want to let everyone know we're gonna have multiple polls during this webinar today. If you have questions, make sure to enter them into the Q&A box. And then, of course, there's a chat box and emojis. So if you really love what is being presented today in the webinar, make sure you hit the smiley face, the heart, whatever it may be, and take it from there. Armin, I believe we have a poll we're going to run, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
All right. So we're going to start with what type of SEO are you? Correct?
Yeah, so it's going to be what type of SEO are you? Absolutely. So Monik will go ahead and share his screen.
Great. Hopefully the kind of SEO that takes you to the moon.
Absolutely.
So we've launched a poll. We have, almost 300 of you in here right now. So a lot are voting. I'm giving it a couple seconds because there is a delay. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share the results. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you haven't voted yet, you lost out. So by far, we're seeing, these are live results, by the way. About 50% agency, 13% e-commerce, 17% B2B, 8% local, and then 14% other. I'm really interested in hearing what the other would be. So if you don't fit in any of these groups, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Exactly what you consider the other to be, guys. What do you think about our crowd here today?
I think it's awesome. It's great. Love to see the agencies on the call. Love to see some e-commerce brands here as well. And I'm also curious about the other. Are you a freelancer? Are you a bot? Do you not identify as a human? Where are you in that?
Exactly. So I'm going to hand things off to you guys.
Perfect. Well, Lauren, thank you so much. And thanks, guys, for filling out our poll, just so we could get a little bit of a better sense for who you guys are. So let's just kind of give you a quick background on myself and Armand. For me, I began my SEO journey really just like you guys. I was trying to figure out SEO and crack the Google code for my own startup. This is now like 10 years ago. And some things worked, but it was really hard to get consistency with our results. And it was hard to know what to work on next. We hit bottlenecks, we hit issues where our rankings plateaued or even declined. And Google's a black box, so they're never going to tell us what we're doing wrong. And even their public kind of disclosures about the ranking updates and how the algorithm works, it's often very misleading. So it's a big struggle. And what we have been focusing on doing for the last 7 years is decoding the Google equation. We spent over $7 million in this time doing this research and applying the scientific method to SEO and discovering the secrets that Google really doesn't want us to know necessarily. And I'm excited to say confidently that now we've cracked the code on the algorithm. And fortunately for me, I didn't have to do it all alone. We've got a team of brilliant people, including Armand. Armand, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks, Monik. Hey guys, my name's Armand. I'm the director of SEO and partner at the Search Atlas Group. Search Atlas Group actually represents a myriad of different websites under our portfolio. We have searchatlas.com, but we also have our agency brand, which is called linkgraph.com. My journey in SEO actually began about a decade ago with Monik, where we had this idea of launching an agency, and we started this in a townhouse in Manhattan. So very humble beginnings, and we've kind of scaled it up from there. Our initial goal was to translate the research and experiments that we've been running as we were trying to decode Google and turn those into actionable campaigns that consistently get results for our clients. This led us to create the exact holistic SEO framework, which takes a 4-pillared approach to SEO, looking at authority, content, technicals, and user signals, which is the absolute bedrock foundation of the Search Atlas platform. Cool. Now, I can go on about, who we are, some of the awards that we've won, the case studies that we've produced, the results that we've gotten for our own brands and our clients. But that's not why we're here today, right? We're not here to just stroke our egos. We're here to learn about SEO and, more importantly, to learn how AI can help us be more efficient with our time and our resources, whether we're agencies or solo practitioners. These are just some of the brands that we're working with. But now what I really want us to do is kind of understand what are some of the problems that we all share when it comes to SEO, right? And I think Monica can do a great job at kind of communicating what those problems are and how some of our technologies can hopefully help solve those problems for you guys.
Absolutely, Armand. Yeah. So just to key off with some problems, and hopefully this resonates with you guys. We, over the last 10 years, we've used a hodgepodge of different tools that are specialized for different functions. And then when we're trying to get those tools in the hands of our team, we have to create new licenses for them, and there has to be training, and it's just a big mess. And then when we're trying to put together our campaigns, we build these SOPs for how to create content, for how to audit a website, for how to secure backlinks at scale, for how to do various tasks. But we find that as soon as we complete the SOP, we want to go back and make those changes. And then the teams don't always have the training to actually correctly implement the SOPs. So that was a big challenge. And then putting tasks into project management tools so that the team at large can execute SEO campaigns, because SEO is not necessarily a one-man band type of thing. It's a multidisciplinary approach. And so getting the team to collaborate and work together, we found ourselves wading through a muck of tasks in Asana and working with lots of different consultants that are specialized, some people that are really good at link building, outreach and research, other people that are proficient at auditing websites, looking at technical issues, just a lot of different people involved. And sometimes those consultants left or became less engaged. And then meanwhile, there's this backdrop where in the industry, there's constant news cycle. It's like worse than CNN. There's always new stuff coming on all the time. Google algorithm updates, people publishing new research that's kind of disputing what Google is saying. So it's just this constant, it feels like you can almost never win, never catch up. And even more problems with the industry just feeling like it's moving so fast. There's always a new AI model that's being released, a new AI tool. And the information that's out there about SEO, it's often very contradictory. If you go to the Moz blog, for example, there's a lot of incorrect SEO out there. And there's a lot of people that armchair SEO that aren't really true practitioners. They haven't really tested their theories, and they're just telling us, their opinion. And it's not to say that they can't share their opinion, but we're trying to really take a scientific approach, and people, do what they say. And a lot of times it leads them in the wrong direction. So there's a lot of snake oil in this industry. There's also a lot of confusion around AI, what AI can do, what AI cannot do, or what it should do. And, lots of gatekeeping, just a lot of challenges in general. So anyways, let's get to the good stuff, which is the solution, right? How are we going to get out of this? And we've really put a lot of energy, a lot of effort into building what we believe is the evolution of how SEO will continue in the future, the next chapter of it. And today, I'm really excited to share it with you guys and to help you guys step into what we believe is now the new era of the search industry and the research that we've done that's leading us to that. So before we get there, what I would love to understand is if we could just get some information from you guys, what are the most time-consuming, the most tedious SEO tasks that you just hate doing, right? Is it technical SEO and metadata and fixing those technical issues across huge sites? Is it the reporting side, quantifying the impact and the return on investment of your SEO efforts? Is it scaling high-quality content creation? And I would include not just blog posts in that, but even landing pages, building landing pages out for services, for products, and optimizing those pages for search. Is it number 4, building backlinks and building authority to the website? Or is it just the knowing of exactly what button to press? Like, what is it that I need to do on the site to improve rankings? Yeah, let us know. So,
sorry, thanks for
really interesting,
Manic. Real quick, did you want me to go through the results of the poll?
Please, that'd be great.
Yeah, so this is pretty close across the board. Knowing exactly what will improve rankings seems to be the most time-consuming and tedious SEO task that someone hates doing. Building backlinks and authority, which is interesting. Something I actually love. Scaling high quality content creation. Overall reporting, right? How to quantify the impact and ROI of SEO at 16%. And then last would be technical SEO and metadata, especially on large websites.
Guys, this really resonates with us too. I mean, these are the exact same issues that we've been fighting and struggling with. And so we understand this pain. We know what it's like. And I would say, honestly, the knowing part for me has always felt the most important, because SEO is a landscape of uncertainty. Can we get more certainty? Can we get more confident about the next quarter, about where we're going to get with our website? If we had that confidence, I think I'd sleep a lot better. We would all sleep a lot better. But today I'm going to show you something that I think will give you more confidence, give you guys more conviction when you report up to leadership or amongst your own teams or with your clients, that what you're going to do is going to be effective. I'm so excited to share it with you guys, and I'm so confident that it's going to work for you. Now, let's build up to it. I want to show you guys the old way. This is the way that I think a lot of us are still doing it. It's the manual component of doing the research, checking the backlink profiles for new link building opportunities, and then looking at our rank tracking data to evaluate what's working, what's not working. And we're only making a handful of modifications per week to our website. Modifications that could be creating new content. It could be optimizing certain landing pages. It could be fixing technical issues or implementing new schema markup on a website, but we're only doing a handful of those things because we're doing it by hand. And we're being very data oriented and not as action oriented as we could be. And all of this is costing us a lot of time, a lot of labor, and a lot of specialists to execute various components of this campaign at scale. And there's also an emerging way. We're now post ChatGPT and OpenAI. We now have this new way, which is we're using specific AI tools or models for a specific kind of task. Maybe we're using ChatGPT to create our content, or maybe we're even using fine-tuned models to do it. And then we're using Midjourney to create images. And we're using maybe Claude to help us build outlines or different strategies, right? And we're using these tools, and maybe some of us are even building custom workflows, and they're complicated and they have to be maintained. And sometimes those workflows actually don't do what they're supposed to do, which leads to AI skepticism and thinking, you know what, I don't think we can really trust ChatGPT. It hallucinates too often. Its content quality is just not good. Is Google even going to rank that content? People have a lot of skepticism, and it's understandable why. And then the tools that we've been using, the old guard, the SEMrush, the Ahrefs, these are legacy tools that are now supplementing what they've been doing with AI, and they're kind of tacking it on. And there's a lot of hype out there as well. And so maybe using new tools where we're not sure about it because they're untested, they're unproven, they haven't really stood the test of time. And that hype cycle leaves us kind of in a state of really uncertainty. But there is a new way. And that new way is using end-to-end AI-assisted SEO software that learns from our first-party data, so it understands our business and executes a holistic SEO framework, a framework that has been battle-tested and proven through the research, and we'll show you research today. And that AI and its outputs are QA'd by real humans. So before it does anything and takes any action, there's a human involved that's reviewing and verifying and making sure that that recommendation is a good one before we put it on our site, right? And then implementing it immediately, instantly at scale, not having to wait for that change to go through our tech team, to a developer who then maybe does it right, maybe doesn't do it right, and then we have to rerun an audit to figure out, was it implemented properly? I mean, it's a pain. Or even if we're working with clients, a lot of times the clients, we give them these audits and they don't implement it with their tech teams, and they won't let us do it. So it's a huge pain point. And then the actual testing and the validation that we can actually verify that these strategies are effective at scale consistently for everyone and for you, and they will be successful for you. So this brings me to, just think about that for a second, right? That is the new way to do it. And I want to show you guys what I believe, and our team believes, is the holy grail of this, which is algorithmic SEO, dynamic SEO. So just think about this for a second. What if we could programmatically optimize all of the metadata across a website, programmatically using AI, that's actually doing a good job. And number two, automatically improve the internal linking across our web pages intelligently, not randomly, but doing it really, really intelligently. What if we could optimize and manage all of our GMBs, not by hand, but in a consistent dashboard that understands how Google ranks GMBs and is tuned to move the needle on the rankings? That we could even expand our topical authority and knowledge-based trust through correct use of semantic SEO, through intelligent diagramming and understanding the topical structure around keywords and the spaces we're trying to create content for and rank for, and even optimizing the existing content that's already been built on the site, maybe by people years ago, so that it can now capture new search intent, new keywords. And then of course, right, because all of the on-page stuff is a lot, but there's also off-page. So how do we build that off-page authority? What if we could automatically, using AI, automate a lot of the legwork there? That, my friends, is the holy grail of SEO. And the concept that I want to bring you guys to today is this idea of SEO velocity, moving really fast, right? SEO velocity. If you could increase the amount of actions that you take every day or every week or every month on the website, what would your SEO velocity be? And the way we define it is the number of purposeful actions taken on your site to improve SEO. Actions that we know through research, through trial and error, through validation, that we do it, rankings move up. If I do X, Google will reward me with better rankings, right? SEO velocity is how fast we do that. That's a new concept today, and I want us to just think about that. So, guys, new poll for you. I would love to know what you guys think about this. How long, in your estimation, and don't let anything I've said today prejudice you, how long does it typically take to get SEO results? Right? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? Should we really be saying 3 months? Is it 6 months? Or do we need to have a year-long time horizon to get SEO results? Please punch in your inputs. Would love to see what you guys have to say on this.
Yeah, we have a lot coming in. So almost 100 responses already. For the most part, it looks like people are utilizing the 3-month timeline, 1 business quarter, 3 months. Then 6 months, which is neck and neck with 1 month. 12 plus months, not too many, right? And then 2 weeks, which is kind of interesting. 8% are coming in at 2 weeks.
Awesome. That's great, guys. And honestly, it looks like the center of gravity, we're between 3 months and 6 months. So SEO is something that we, as people always say, and I hear this all the time, SEO takes time. You have to have a long time frame. At least give yourself 3 months. We tell our clients often, or even 6 months, right? Because we want to make sure they have a time horizon so we can do the work, we can implement it, and get those results for our clients. So totally sensible. 3 months to 6 months is, I think, how our industry today thinks about timeline toward SEO results. I'm going to actually dispute that and say that it can be done in 2 weeks. It actually can be done predictably in 2 weeks. We like to tell everyone 30 days, but I'm going to show you guys something. This is auto. And what auto is it stands for one-click trusted, transparent optimization of SEO. And the way that it works is it takes that holistic SEO framework that Armand showed you. It uses strategies and techniques that we verified in the lab that Armand is going to show us today in just a minute. And it executes and implements them programmatically as soon as you, the human, click deploy. So it's not an AI going rogue, making the wrong changes to our website. It's the AI intelligently making a bunch of pre-calculated decisions and giving them to us on a silver platter and saying, human, which ones do you want me to implement? And you could say deploy all if you really want to put a lot of faith in the AI, or you can go module by module and deploy them. So let's talk about the proof here, because a lot of people will say, all right, show me the money. Does this actually do anything? The first proof is in the numbers of time saved. So for an example that I'll show you in a second is a local party rental business. The amount of effort saved through implementation was 1,966 days, 12 hours, and 50 minutes of work, implementing a huge SEO framework. Now, when you say SEO takes 3 to 6 months, I completely agree. it does take 3 to 6 months of human work and human labor. But what if we could automate that human labor in a day or 2 days, right? What would the results look like? They look something like this. Here is a case study. It's an example. And guys, by the way, we have like, at this point, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. So today, we couldn't show you all of them, but we're just going to show you some of them. This is a pretty typical result. Within about a month, business goes from not ranking anywhere in the Google map to ranking really well, pretty much dominating that map in a huge radius, okay? I want to show you another case study. This one is actually not one that I did. Do you guys know this guy, Paul? He goes by Dre. He's the founder of SEO Video Show. Great guy. And I was actually on his podcast. He was interviewing me, and I was telling him about this technology. And he said, no way. There's no way it can work. I got a client. I've been doing everything I can't get this client to rank. And he's like, maybe Otto can do it. And I think, great, sure. Give me the hardest client that you can't rank and give that to me, and then measure our success based on that case. Fine, let's just see what happens. Boom. Within 6 weeks, this is for a personal injury keyword. Each click is like $150. So you can see those greens in the center there. That's him being able to get clicks for this business. And this campaign had a massive ROI for him. Here's what that looked like from a Google search perspective. So you can see the business had kind of tanked and sort of flatlined and come down. And then as soon as Otto was implemented, Otto was able to push that business into a positive ranking state within 7 days. Right? This is his case study, not mine. He just used our technology. Okay. And here's a couple more people from the community just sharing their findings. Adam Leverage posted about installing Otto on Monday and just implemented the technical fixes and the knowledge graph optimization. And he saw results in 7 days. So within 7 days, massive improvement in average Google position. He was in the 20 to 30, so page 3 and around page 2, page 3. And he was able to get to position on average like 2 for his local map position, which is incredible. He said he hasn't seen results this fast for 10 years. And more people chiming in saying it works and showcasing their results. So that's really exciting validation. Now, how did we do this? Right? Is this magical pixie fairy dust? What is it? And for that, Armand, could you talk to him a little bit about the research?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Monique. And a couple points, because I'm watching the chat here and there are a lot of questions. We are going to have a Q&A section at the end of this webinar, so please hang out till the end. We'll answer all of your questions there. A quick note is that everything in Otto, or more broadly speaking, in Search Atlas, before we build a tool, before we build an automation, before we build a process, we need to know if it works, right? And to Monique's point earlier, we cannot take anything at face value. SEO moves so fast. Things that used to work 10 years ago get you de-indexed or penalized today. So you can't rely on outdated blogs or YouTube videos or what your friend said around the water cooler, right? We really need to take that scientific method and prove that we can move the needle consistently before systematizing the process, right? So how do we do that? We do that with our research team. So our entire organization has just under 150 employees, but 7 of them are dedicated to this research team. They're lifelong SEOs, day in and day out. All they do is run single variant testing on websites in different industries. So local businesses, publications, e-com sites, SaaS domains. And we're just testing what happens if I change one variable and only one variable and I leave everything else static, right? Does this addition of schema move the needle? Do internal linking strategies work? What are the impact of press releases, right? We need to be able to quantify that, provide replicatable results, right? And allow our community to validate those tests to understand, the why behind what we're doing, right? So what you're seeing on the screen here is really just a brief summary of some of the experiments that we've run. And you'll notice that not all experiments are successful, right? So we have to do a lot of testing to really separate the wheat from the chaff and understand what works and what does not work. So if we go to the next slide, we'll have a little video here that's just kind of walking through the case study and kind of methodology that we used to evaluate the impact of schema markup. right? Schema markup is essentially structured data that search engines use to understand what is this page about, what are the core takeaways, what are the keywords, phrases, ideas that this page is trying to rank for. So by deploying schema on a web page, we're able to prove that purely just adding schema does improve rankings and visibility. I am not sitting here and saying that adding schema markup will transform your website from an organic search perspective, right? It's not going to have a radical shift like that, but it is going to move the needle significantly enough for us to take that time to implement it across our key pages, right? And that's really what SEO is about at the end of the day. It's the sum of these parts, right? The small changes that you do day in and day out that add up to this big lift. And that's really how we're approaching the technology, is by helping you implement micro optimizations at scale on large websites to get the benefit of the sum of those optimizations as quickly as possible. So the next slide over is going to look at a concept known as geocircles. And geocircles are actually quite a buzzy or trendy topic in the local SEO community right now. There are a lot of people that are saying, hey, geocircles work. This is allowing my clients to pop in local search. And we're like, it sounds too good to be true. Seems too easy. Seems like we're gamifying the system. I don't think this is going to work. So we assigned this task to our team. We tested this on literally a dozen unique websites all over the country, in all different markets. And we definitively proved that geocircles do not work. So we are not going to recommend building a process or an automation around geocircles because it's not worth the return, right? So that's kind of the approach, right? We have an idea, we have an hypothesis, we test it, we document it, we replicate it enough times to get statistical significance, and then we can make a definitive claim that this works, this doesn't work. And once we're confident, we build a process and the system in auto. Cool. So there are a couple other experiments in here. So internal linking, right? Internal linking is a strategy that goes back as early as SEO as a concept itself. I don't need to sit here and tell you that internal linking works, but I also want to know if internal linking still works and what the impact of it is if you execute it correctly. And that's why we took the time to do this experiment. We knew it worked. Going into it, we were biased. We're like, this is going to work, but we need to prove it out before we build this as a module, right? And the last experiment here is going to be the impact of PR, so press releases. And press releases are great because it's a low-cost way for businesses to build their brand visibility, to get a high number of quality backlinks in a relatively low, short period of time. And it does have impacts both on local map rankings as well as organic search listings. Again, it's not going to skyrocket you from position 50 to position 1 overnight. But if you're struggling, you're at the bottom of page 1, top of page 2, or you're in the top 10 of the max, but you want to be in the top 3 or the top 5, a PR strategy that's thought out the right way can help you get that extra edge, right? And that's really what this is all about, is capitalizing on the edge anywhere you can find it as efficiently as you can execute it. And that's really why we're able to get these results, right? Consistent research equals consistent results. Like, that is what we're all about. And we're always retesting things that we used to do, right? So as there's a new algorithm update, we have to rerun all of these experiments to see, did this new change in the algo, update the efficacy of an experiment that was previously, proved positive. So this is something that we're always doing. If you want to follow us and learn more about the experiments that we're running and the case studies, you can follow us on LinkedIn, myself and Monik, or you can join us on Facebook. We have a community called SEO Theory, where we teach SEO and we don't gatekeep any of these secrets. We're really about bringing growth and knowledge to the community as a whole. Cool. So now I just kind of want to talk big picture, like how can this help you specifically? And that's kind of why we had that poll at the start of the conversation, is to understand the demographics of who we're speaking to and kind of speak to the specific use cases for how this technology can be applied. So if you're an agency, which it seems like the majority of you guys are, the value proposition is quite clear, right? It's increase your output per team member, drive results faster, and improve the profitability and efficiency of your organization at the end of the day. The entire tech stack of Search Atlas is also white labeled, so you can also use it to create a truly branded experience for your clients and minimize the amount of touch points through automated reporting and storytelling via AI. So it is really amazing for agencies. I would say roughly 50 or 60% of our subscribers are actually agencies. So definitely the agencies will see a lot of benefit in this.
Yeah, and Armand, just to piggyback on this, the photo on the right, that's Josh Blakely, who's a friend of mine. And actually, Josh, we did an interview with him where he talked about his results with auto. He was part of the beta testers. And what Josh told me is that he had these rank and rent websites that hadn't produced a phone call in like 6 months, like absolutely nada. They were pretty much dead. And then he installed Auto Search Atlas on those rank and rent sites. Instantly, he said within 7 days, the phone was ringing immediately. Not just Josh, Shannon O'Donovan, who's also in our community, she said the exact same thing. She had rank and rent sites that were not producing. They installed the technology. Immediately, the phone was ringing. So we'll get more case studies. We'll talk more about it, but I just want to highlight the two of them because one, they're amazing people, but they also, we have interviews with them and they talk about their experience. So for those of you, I see some people are still skeptical. That's okay to be skeptical. I would honestly have been skeptical too. And I was when I built the technology. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. But at this point, we're well past that. 1,000 case studies later, it's pretty clear.
Absolutely. And if you are a solo practitioner or you're doing SEO as a small business owner, again, the value proposition is very straightforward. Take control of your own SEO, right? You don't have to be price gouged by agencies charging an arm and a leg. You don't need to go back to school or take a certification program to learn the ins and outs of SEO. You're too busy running your business. Let Auto guide you and take it over for you, right? So it really just helps the small business owner empower themselves and take control of their website. Very straightforward. Now for the enterprises or the larger websites, the B2B websites, this is where Auto and Search Atlas really shines, right? Because enterprises and large e-commerce stores, big SaaS companies, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of unique web pages. And it is a nightmare to manage sites at that scale manually, right? So being able to optimize and control sites at scale is a huge value proposition for the enterprise. Now, additionally, a lot of enterprises are very siloed organizations. You have a marketing team that lives over here. You have a web development team that lives over here. If marketing wants any change done to the website, new title tag, new content, new blog post, anything done, they have to create a ticket. They're likely using a ticketing system like a Jira or an Asana, and they're plugging in their requests and they're waiting for the developer's bandwidth to free up, see the ticket, and then ultimately make that fix. So marketing is often handcuffed by dev bandwidth, right? And Auto allows marketing to bypass dev and push page modifications and updates and optimizations to the site directly without having to rely on dev. And I do see a lot of questions about this in the chat. Auto is 100% platform agnostic, right? It'll work on any CMS, WordPress, Shopify, Wix, Webflow, as well as some of the custom built applications in React. It'll work on Salesforce. It'll work on high level. So it is truly platform agnostic. If it is a website, it will work on it. Okay. And we are like Monik said earlier, we are super confident in our product, and we do actually have guaranteed results. So if you guys want to build your own case study and you want to test this out as a solution, this is a great promotion that we have for the Search Engine Journal community exclusively. So you can sign up using that QR code, start a free trial, get some free hyperdrive credits, and you'd have direct contact with myself, with Monik and our team to really help navigate setting up Auto, using Search Atlas, and maximizing the utility of the platform.
Yeah, and I see some great questions, guys. Don't worry, we're going to have plenty of time for Q&A. Look forward to going through those with you. Just before we do, I just want to give you guys a quick, short little metaphor for this. And we really believe that the technology, it is revolutionary, and it's going to change the course of the industry. Picture your SEO journey over the next few years. It's a space mission. Without Auto, you're launching with Sputnik 1. It's historic, and it's got Sepia, which is cool, but it's slow and it's archaic. You're orbiting at a basic level, making small incremental changes in progress. But with Auto and Search Atlas, you're launching on a Falcon 9 rocket by SpaceX, built for speed, power, and interstellar dominance. So Auto is your Falcon 9, rocketing you to the top of SERP with cutting-edge SEO capabilities. The content is the rocket fuel, propelling you higher and further, while the hyperdrive credits are your booster rockets, giving you the extra thrust to leave the competitors in the space dust. The technicals are the advanced navigation systems, precision engines, and stabilizers that ensure every part of your SEO mission runs flawlessly. And when you need guidance or assistance check, my team here are your mission control. We're always ready to assist you in helping keep your SEO rocket flying at full throttle towards success. So which one will it be, guys? The old way or the new way? Look forward to going through some of these questions.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was really interesting. And then as you were going through the presentation, I was checking out the website. One thing that really stuck out to me was the Haro AI component. Could you go through that a little bit? Because it sounds like it could be a real time saver on that end.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are several automations that we've built specifically around digital PR. So we've looked at a ton of different tools, right? Haro, Muckrack, Cision, Prowly, all these different tools. And we really like the idea of being able to internally do outreach at scale for backlink opportunities, thought leadership, link insertions, reciprocal linking, et cetera. So what we've done is we've exposed the database of publishers and journalists that we've worked with over the last decade. This represents over 300,000 unique journalists and over 100,000 unique media outlets. And what we've done is, for the Haro side specifically, we essentially bring in all of the requests that journalists have for press mentions in Haro. We bring those into the dashboard. We allow you to generate email replies and set up drip sequences to specifically target them using curated AI messaging across the entire sequence chain. But we also realized that Haro is morphing. It was acquired by Connectedly, and it's kind of changing, and it has its own new incarnation. So we needed to have a solution for PR outreach that wasn't tied to any existing platform, which is why we went in the direction of connect your inbox, leverage our media list, use our email templates, and conduct outreach at scale with or without the Haro network being involved.
Interesting. Very cool. Very cool. And just to, before we get into the questions, just to clarify, you are platform agnostic. So you can work with WordPress, Shopify, Wix, whatever it may be, right? And that's just placing a pixel.
Absolutely.
On the site. Interesting. All right. I had a question about integrating ChatGPT and other AI engines with Ahrefs and other SEO tools, but I believe you guys utilize your own crawler. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, we have our own crawling technology. We also use third-party data sets. Mm-hmm. So we use data from really all the SEO tools. We actually have our own perspective on that now that we have everyone's data. We can actually see how they compare to one another. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of issues with DA, DR, and site authority. They're not very good metrics. And we're going to be releasing a new metric next month in SEO Chiang Mai. So looking forward to that. But what I will say is, like, if you're after accuracy in the SEO game, accuracy is a really challenging thing to come by.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Especially with all the changes that Google's making and the ability for the tools to pick them up. The next question that comes in is, how much time do you take to validate your experiments and some of the case studies that you're working on?
So it's two things. With experiments, it's the sample size. How many sites did we make this experiment on? And how many of those sites were successful? And then number two, the magnitude of the change. And I'd say even number three would be, how long does it take to see the change? So depending on the experiment, these are all different, but we always like to test on a minimum of about 10 sites for any experiment change. And then as far as like timeline, one of the challenges is indexation. We need to wait for Google to actually index the changes that are made. So what we'll do is, from the date of indexing, we begin measuring the before and the after effect. Sometimes the effect, the ranking state evolves and improves rankings over the course of multiple weeks, but we're tracking it pretty much to see how soon from when Google indexes this change, are they moving the rankings up or down? And then what's the magnitude of that change? So usually I'd say for these experiments, we're tracking them for over the course of a month. And oftentimes month 2, month 3, we come back to what was done and see, did that result stabilize? Did it increase or did it go away?
Excellent. And for more on Auto and Search Atlas, we are about to launch a breakout room. So Heather behind the scenes is going to go ahead and do that right now. You'll see a pop-up come up on the webinar. And if you'd like to check more out on the Auto side and Search Atlas side, please jump over.
Cool. We'll continue the Q&A in here, but if you guys want to actually get a platform demo, see the technology inside, ask questions about how you guys might want to use it, that would be a perfect use of the breakout room. So just hop on in there. If you guys have more questions for me, I'm happy to keep going, and I'll keep going through some of the questions. So let's look at some of the more technical ones. Okay, one is Simon Rush asks, do you have an example of a decentralized go-to-market model? Example, we have a dealer network. We want to equip 120 dealers to be able to perform, but not necessarily on our one site. So yes, the cool thing is you can pretty much give all 120 dealers the exact same script and connect their websites into our platform. So you don't have to give them a really different implementation each time. You can give them just one code, and that will integrate into your account. So it's meant to be really flexible and really efficient as well in the way that it's implemented and deployed, so we can support that use case. Great question.
That is a great question. And a good follow-up to that too. Juan Mesa asked, we're an agency working exclusively with lawyers. Can this tool be trained to, for example, avoid making claims such as we are the best law firm or things like that? So how trainable is Auto from a content perspective when making those, not only just the content changes to the site, but also title tags, meta descriptions, whatever it may be?
Yeah, that's an important question, because there's a lot of industries that have very specific rules about what they can and cannot say. And so, number one, you have the ability to import your own rules, your own instructions into the prompt and train the fine-tuned model however you want. But what we do to make that process more seamless and just better for everyone is that we actually train your fine-tuned model on your own data. So your brand voice, the way that you articulate your statements, the claims you do make on your website, your AI model that's generating all these suggestions is actually trained on your own data. So if you don't make those claims on your website, the model doesn't have that in its fine-tuned data set, and it's not as likely to make those claims. To make sure it doesn't do it at all, you would give it an explicit instruction. So that's super important for the health niche, obviously for law, finance as well. So super applicable. Lauren, I'm not sure if it's me, but I'm not able to hear you right now.
Oh, sorry. My mute button was on. My bad.
Okay.
That's really good information for regulatory industries. Another question that came up is if someone's utilizing Search Atlas or Auto on the site and then decides to stop utilizing Auto for any reason, do those changes stick or do they go away with the pixel?
Great question. So we have what we call the deep freeze, so that whatever the work is that you do on the website can stick into the website, and we'll host it for you for like 100 years, like indefinitely. So even if you just never come back to the site, those changes are still going to be on the site, and they're going to be wired into the code there. So especially if you implement our WordPress plugin, if it's a WordPress site, all those changes live inside the plugin and then will reside with the website, whether you continue to use Auto or if you pause.
Very cool. Very cool. And we have a lot of questions that come in. Do you work with Umbraco? Do you work with HubSpot? And yeah, I think for the most part, you are going to be platform agnostic. So you work with just about everything on there.
Correct. If it's HTML, it's compatible.
What's that?
Yeah. If it's HTML, If it's built in HTML, it will work.
Yeah, if it shows up in a browser, it's going to work. How does Auto handle fact checking and stats regarding content and content creation? Does this go back to the training on the site itself, or do you have any other third parties set up to make sure that it's actually factual information that's going out there? One thing that comes to mind is when Google first launched their AI overviews, right? And I think their pizza recipe called for Elmer's glue within the pizza. So they kind of rolled it, they pulled it back, now they put it back out there. But how are you guys making sure that everything you put out there is fact checked?
Yeah. So Google has what they call their knowledge base, or their knowledge graph. And it's basically a database of somewhere between 5 billion and maybe 50, 60 billion kernels of knowledge, what are actually called triples in the semantic SEO world. That's like what the community is actually calling them. There's two kinds of triples. Anyways, the way that our content generation machine works is we actually go and, for whatever the keyword is you're optimizing for, we attempt to go out there and discover the entire knowledge graph around that keyword by going to all the SERPs that are ranking. We extract out all the factual content from those pages, those triples. We build a triple graph. We then supplement that triple graph with data from AI models to get more and more facts. And then what we try to do is we try to take all these facts and figure out which ones have the lowest semantic distance to the keyword you're trying to optimize for, which ones are the most relevant, germane, and useful, and also accurate, right? We don't want to put inaccurate facts in there as well. So that happens behind the scenes. And then when we go to generate the content, I encourage you to think about the content generation part as taking a bunch of, I would say, precursors or data artifacts and stitching them together into a format that has a good flow to it, that is logical and is easy for humans to read, as well as for search engines to interpret and understand. There's a concept that a friend of mine, his name is Korai, brilliant semantic SEO researcher, talks about. It's this concept of information retrieval cost. And in a lot of AI content, there's so many unnecessary words. So for Google to extract the meaning of the sentence, there might be just a few words that connote meaning, but a total of 20 words that are just woven in there, just crapping it up. And so when you're AI generating content, but that's also another critical piece, is you want the content construction to be concise and clear and not include all those AI trite expressions. Our platform, we put a lot of energy into doing good factual discovery and then synthesizing that content with good contextual and semantic flow, and creating those final pieces of content. Lauren, you're muted, man.
Sorry, lots of technical difficulties today. Had a pretty straightforward question come in. This will actually, first of all, you said that you're going to Chiang Mai SEO.
Yes, yeah, we'll be there.
Okay, instantly jealous. The question is, do you have an affiliate program or any kind of reseller style program set up for Auto?
Yes, we do. Yeah, I think we have the best in the business. If you go to searchatlas.com, or I think it's affiliates.searchatlas.com, just Google it and you'll find it. But it's a great affiliate program. You can get 30% for life as an affiliate for Search Atlas for any referrals that you drive. So we've got a lot of big affiliates that have really built a solid business around promoting our technology. So if that's interesting to you, go navigate to that page and register.
Very cool. Very cool. And we had a question come in about like utilizing schema for recipes. But I want to take this in a different direction. Google is always changing basically what they approve and what they disapprove from a schema formatting perspective, right? There will be an announcement one week that YouTube videos need this kind of schema. There'll be an announcement the next week that something on the brand side or organization side needs this type of schema. So if someone is manually making those changes or manually adding product information, well, no one should be manually adding product information. But point being is making those changes in, whether it's a Shopify backend, BigCommerce backend, a lot of them have limitations. When Google makes a change like that or a recommendation, how long does it usually take you guys to get it integrated into Auto?
So There's over 5,500 types of schema that are out there that can be put on a website. Of those kinds of schema, we really focus on certain core schema that is, it's been out there for more than a decade, and it's not as experimental. So in terms of some of the newer schemas, we're probably a little later to adopt them. We really focus on the core schema, things like FAQ schema, organization schema, authorship schema, the most important schema, and even like thing schema. So when we have a page and we have a lot of let's call them topical terms in the content, or entities as they're called in the leak, we could see in the content warehouse API documents, they call them entities. You can actually tag those entities on your page through schema, indicating to Google that this concept is actually on Wikipedia or some third-party data set that they already have access to. And that will actually boost your relevance score for the keyword you're optimizing for, where this is a related thing to that thing. So we use that schema as well. So these are like the kind of evergreen schema types, and we're not as into the more experimental ones.
Very cool. And you really touched the nerve earlier when you're discussing the world of marketers and developers, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I need to get this title tag updated. Okay, put it in a ticket. We'll get it to it when we can. I need to get this H1 updated. Like things that, really developers and engineers should not be doing, because it's just their time is much more valuable than doing that. And sometimes things get pushed back because their time is more valuable than doing that. So one question I have for you is, it sounds like the only thing that you need a developer to do and to put a ticket into is getting the pixel integrated into the site. And that's it.
Pixel or the plugin, depending on the CMS. So we've got plugins for Shopify and for WordPress, and we're building HubSpot and Salesforce out right now.
Very cool. Very cool. And where can people find you online?
I'm a pretty easy guy to get a hold of. Add me on Facebook. Monicbond.com is my personal site. You can track me there. You can also message me on LinkedIn. Pretty easy to find.
Very cool. Very cool. Is there anything else
you know how to spell my name?
What's that?
No, just as long as you know how to spell my name. Otherwise, you might find the wrong guy. But it's MANICKBHAN. You'll find me.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time too. Anything else you wanted to review today? We started a little bit late, so don't want to cut it off right at the 12 o'clock mark. Was there anything else that you wanted to discuss while we have this time?
Let me just look at the question, see if there's anything else that's good in here that we wanted to pick up.
And just a reminder, we do have a lot of questions about whether or not the slide deck is going to be made available. The answer is yes. So
yeah, we'll give you guys the slides. Don't worry. One question that Michael had was about how Search Atlas and other tools will impact the SEO job market overall.
Oh, yeah.
And what I'd say is the flow of how AI is impacting the job market is obviously impacting SEO. And I would say this is an extension of that. Where I think it's going to shift things is in, you're not going to have people going to a website and putting in image alt text, right? That's gone, right? Thank God for that too. Like, we should all be very happy. That's the death of doing it by hand. All of those manual tasks that honestly suck, that no one ever liked doing, those will be automated. And where people will be successful in the industry for themselves individually as well as within companies is strategy, insight, understanding the search game at a higher level from a strategy perspective and the rules in which it operates, and less so in the manual day-to-day minutia of implementing those details onto the website. So I think, like, for web development teams, it's going to liberate them from a lot of the slog that they've had to do historically. For technical SEO teams, it's going to free them up and absolve a lot of conflict between the marketing and the dev team, where the marketing is trying to get the dev team to implement things correctly, and the dev team is always backlogged. It's got a lot of tickets, and your tickets are just at the end of a long pile and they don't get implemented in time. And then, the marketing team is responsible for its KPIs, and leadership says, hey, why haven't we grown like this? And marketing is like, well, our tech team's not implementing what we needed them to. So that's going to go away. And I think it'll really reward creativity. It'll also allow us to just think at a higher level, which is something we should all be very excited about.
Very cool. Amazing. And yeah, I mean, the first thing that impressed me looking at the auto landing page was just the fact that I've seen some other tools out there that try to do something similar, but they're all tech, right? They're all on the technical SEO side. The fact that you're looking at the big picture, the holistic picture of everything else that's needed, right? Third-party citations, Google business profiles, Haro outreach or answering or whatever it is, but just making sure that like that entire, to your point, strategy is all maintained under one roof is really cool. So kudos for putting that together, because I don't think I've seen anything like that before yet.
Thanks.
So.
It doesn't have any precedent. It's the first time, that something like this has been created. And guys, like the thing is, Google is a multi-signal model. So if you only boost one signal and not the other signals that they're looking for, that is not enough to move the algorithm as much as you could if you corroborate that signal with multiple signals. So holistic is about bringing together. It's like a multivitamin, gives you everything that the search engine wants and needs, and does it in a way that's efficient and automated. A lot of people are kind of more myopic, and they're really focusing on links, and all they do is link building. And other people are really content heavy, and all they do is they create content. And some people are really more technical focused. They just try to fix the technical defects. Well, if that particular issue is not the thing holding the site back, you will not see success. So you have to take a holistic approach to this and drive all the signals forward together. That's where we see the best results.
Outstanding. And to take a deeper look in the Search Atlas and auto, please go to searchatlas.com/SEJ or take your phone out and take a picture of that QR code. Monica, it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed having you today, learning more about auto, what you're doing on the Search Atlas side, and can't wait to see how this grows and changes the industry, man.
Thanks, Lauren. It's a pleasure to be here. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Look forward to staying in touch with you guys. Please join our community group as well, SEO Theory on Facebook. And we'll be in touch soon. Take care.
Right. Have a good one. Thank you.
Peace.